Well, it's that time of the year again. Halloween. This is definitely my second favorite holiday after Christmas, and so to fit the spirit of the season, I decided to review one of my favorite horror games of all time, Five Nights at Freddy's. From Markiplier to game theory and everything in between, Fnaf was an integral part of my middle school career. I didn't start with the first game though, no, I actually played Fnaf 3 on mobile first with a friend before class, and that's when it piqued my interest. So that following summer when Fnaf 4 came out, it blew my mind, and my life at that point pretty much revolved around this series. My favorite memories from those days was watching Minecraft roleplays like Timgladiator and Caveman films and Venom. I still keep up with the series today, but since there's so much, I often just take it in bit by bit. So for those of you who are wondering, Five Nights at Freddy's is a point-and-click survival horror game created by Cawthon. Before Fnaf, Scott actually used to create only Christian-friendly games and animations, but his intentions soon were turned around as the graphics were a turnoff for many, with one famous review saying that the characters in one of his games, Chambers & Sons Lumber Company, resembled scary animatronic animals. As you can imagine, he was originally heartbroken, but used the negativity to his advantage to create a new game to capitalize on the comments. In August of 2014, he released Five Nights at Freddy's on Steam, and it was a massive success with let's plays and theories left and right, not to mention popularizing many channels that cover this mysterious content. But enough with my nostalgia and the context. What is the game really about? Why did everybody go crazy over it? And how does it hold up in 2020? Well, like I said, it's a point-and-click survival horror game being seen through the eyes of Mike Schmidt, a recently hired security guard working at a Chuck E. Cheese star ripoff named Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, tasked to stay 5 nights at the restaurant during the night shift. Although don't let the name fool you, as there's also a 6th and a 7th night, and a bonus custom night that allows you to change the AI of the animatronics. This is where the infamous 420 mode comes in. Everything seems fine until Phone Guy, your tutorial, cites the fact that the animatronics move around at night to prevent malfunction during the day, and if they happen to find you, they kill you on the spot and stuff your body into one of the suits. Unlike other horror games, Fnaf heavily restricts your movement and abilities. You can only look to the left and right of the office and open and close the 2 blast doors and flash the respective lights. The building also has very limited power supply, so the player has to manage that as well in order to avoid certain death by Freddy himself. This, alongside the limited view of the security cameras used to keep monitor and keep track of the animatronics, are prime sources of fear and panic. Not to mention the fact that the game just likes to with you sometimes, like seriously, it plays weird sounds, you often have hallucinations, and other strange but rare occurrences. Despite its simple setup, with all these things combined with one's anxiety, Fnaf truly becomes a one-of-a-kind horror experience. Playing this for the first time through, there will be some things that will stick with you, mostly because of the fact that the game often throws tricks at you to keep you on edge. Trying to explain the whole story of Fnaf is a very tricky subject for obvious reasons for those of you who are already know, but at least if you want to try to get somehow into it, I recommend watching the game theory playlist to get your bearings. For now, I'm just going to try to explain the basic story of Fnaf 1. So, the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza establishment, while on the surface looks like a simple kid's place, actually has a dark and troubled past. Multiple newspaper articles in the game report of an incident where a man wearing one of the characters' costumes lured 5 children to a back room and killed them, to what became known as the Missing Children incident. Combine that with a bunch of other range and strange stuff like the Bite of 87 and, more children death, it makes the Fnaf story really dark and disturbing. It's definitely one of a kind. Afterwards, customers started reporting animatronics acting very strangely, from smelling like rotten corpses and even leaking blood and mucus. Scott has confirmed many times in the past that the animatronics are indeed haunted. That, combined with the other info from earlier, implies that the bodies of the kids were stuffed into the suits. And if you think that's something else, the story really becomes something else when you go further down the rabbit hole. And that's definitely one of the reasons why Fnaf was so popular. Not only was the gameplay unique, but its story created a fan base like no other. Like I said earlier, the game was a massive success, selling over millions of copies and cementing itself as a giant in the gaming industry. It's been about 6 years since the game has come out, and there has been more sequels, spin-offs, books, and even a feature-length film being made by Blumhouse Productions of The Purge and Insidious fame. Despite showing its hiccups, the series still has a bright future ahead.